August 29th, 1958. Gary, Indiana. A small two-bedroom house on Jackson Street, steel mills glowing orange in the distance. Your mother screams. You are born the seventh of 9 children into a house that was already too small for the family it had. Your father works 12-hour shifts at the steel mill. Your mother works part-time at Sears. There is barely enough money for food some weeks, let alone anything extra. 9 kids, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 dream that hasn't been born yet. Household income, below the poverty line. Space per child, almost none. Odds of a kid from this house becoming a global icon, statistically close to 0. You are 3 years old, and you already know how to keep quiet when your father is tired. You are 5, and every evening after his shift, he lines you and your brothers up in the living room. Not for bedtime stories, for rehearsal. He holds a belt in one hand while you sing. Miss a note, and you feel it. Miss a step, and you feel it twice. This isn't encouragement. This is fear wearing the mask of discipline. You don't have a word for what's happening to you yet. You just know you'd better not mess up. By 6 years old, you're already performing in local clubs on what people call the Chitlin circuit. Venues where grown men twice your age can barely hold a note the way you already can, without even trying. You watch James Brown from backstage, memorizing every slide of his foot, every drop to his knees. You're not a child enjoying a show. You are a student studying a blueprint for the rest of your life. You're the lead singer of the Jackson 5. Your brothers are older, but somehow the spotlight keeps finding you. The smallest one, the youngest one, the one with the voice that doesn't sound like it belongs to a child. Motown signs the group. You are 10 years old, sitting in a room full of adults in Detroit discussing contracts, royalty percentages, and career strategy in a language you don't fully understand. You just want to sing. Nobody's really asking what you want. Age at first record deal, 10. Age at first #1 single, 11. Age most kids your age are learning long division, also 10 and 11. I Want You Back hits #1. You are 11 years old, and the entire country suddenly knows your face. Screaming crowds, police escorts, interviews where journalists ask an 11-year-old what it feels like to be famous, as if fame is something a child is supposed to have language for. You don't remember playing outside as a kid. You remember sound checks. You remember hotel rooms. You remember rehearsal schedules taped to the wall. You're 13. Puberty hits, and for most kids, that's an awkward phase nobody remembers clearly. For you, it becomes something else entirely. Because your father starts commenting on your face, your nose, the way you're changing. He says it casually, the way you'd point out a mistake in a dance step. You start looking in the mirror differently after that. This is the moment a wound opens that will never fully close. You're 20. Motown is behind you, and you land the role of the Scarecrow in The Wiz. On that set, you meet a producer named Quincy Jones. Something shifts in you. For the first time in your life, you feel like you're being taken seriously as an artist, not managed as a product. Off the Wall is released. 5 top 10 singles. Critics stop calling you a child star and start calling you a serious musician. But at home, in your own head, you're still the boy who was told his face wasn't good enough. You're 24. Thriller comes out. Nobody, not you, not Quincy, not the label, predicts what's about to happen. Copies sold worldwide eventually, over 66 million. Weeks spent at #1 on the Billboard chart, 37. Grammy wins in a single night, 8. Cultural impact, something the entire music industry is still trying to measure, decades later. You become the biggest entertainer alive. When you debut the moonwalk on Motown 25 in 1983, it isn't just a dance move. It stops the country mid-sentence. Your face is on every magazine, every television screen, every kid's bedroom wall in America. Your name has become a brand bigger than most companies. And somewhere underneath all of that noise, the actual boy named Michael starts quietly disappearing. A Pepsi commercial goes wrong. Pyrotechnics on set ignite your hair while cameras roll. You suffer second- and third-degree burns to your scalp. This single accident becomes the starting point of something that will follow you for the rest of your life. A relationship with prescription painkillers that begins here, in a hospital bed, and never really ends. Surgeries following the incident. Multiple. First documented use of painkillers for pain management, 1984. A pattern is set in motion here that will repeat, quietly, for the next 25 years. Bad is released. Still a massive commercial success, still record-breaking around the world. But something in the media narrative around you begins to shift. You're no longer just the king of pop anymore. Tabloids start calling you Wacko Jacko. Every surgery becomes a headline. Every visible change to your face becomes a punchline before a single person stops to ask why a person might change the way they look. Nobody asks why. Not really. You purchase a sprawling property in Santa Barbara County and turn it into Neverland Ranch. Roller coasters, a private zoo, a movie theater, a place built entirely around the childhood you feel like you never actually got to have. To you, this is healing. To the outside world watching from a distance, it becomes one more headline about a grown man who has completely lost touch with reality. Dangerous is released. Still commercially massive, but by now you are spending more money defending your public image and your privacy than most people will earn across their entire lifetime. The first child molestation allegations become public. You settle the case outside of court. You continue to maintain your innocence. The country splits almost exactly in half. Half still see the boy from Gary, Indiana, who changed music forever. Half already believe the headlines completely. Settlement amount reported publicly: over $20 million. Criminal charges filed at that time: 0. Public opinion from this point forward permanently, irreversibly divided. You marry Lisa Marie Presley in 1994. The marriage lasts less than 2 years. You marry again in 1996 and have 2 children with your second wife. None of it slows down the noise gathering outside your gates, year after year. Invincible is released. It becomes your final studio album. The music industry around you has completely transformed. The public narrative around you has transformed even more. You are 43 years old, and you already feel frozen, like the world decided, sometime back in 1983, exactly who you were allowed to be, and never let you evolve past it. A documentary airs where you speak openly and, in hindsight, dangerously candidly about sharing your bed with children, meaning it as innocent comfort, meaning it the way a man who never got to have a real childhood himself might genuinely misunderstand how it looks to everyone watching from outside. The backlash is immediate. It is massive. It never really stops after this point. You stand trial on 10 counts of child molestation. The trial lasts nearly 5 months. Cameras are outside the courthouse every single day, broadcasting your arrival and departure like a nightly ritual. After 5 months, you are acquitted on all 10 counts. Charges filed: 10. Convictions: 0. Public perception after the acquittal: largely unchanged regardless of the verdict. Your career and your health damaged in ways that will never fully repair. You leave the United States for a while after the trial. Bahrain, Ireland. You are trying, quietly, to disappear from a story that the world refuses to let go of. You're 50 years old. You announce the This Is It tour. 50 sold-out shows in London, meant to be your reclaiming of the narrative, your proof to the world and to yourself that the artist is still there, underneath everything that's happened. Rehearsals begin. You are visibly thin. You are exhausted in a way that goes beyond normal tiredness. You are relying on a growing cocktail of prescription medications just to sleep, after decades of insomnia that quietly started back in 1984, the year of the accident nobody talks about enough. June 25th, 2009. Your personal physician administers propofol inside your rented mansion in Los Angeles. A powerful surgical anesthetic never designed for home use, never designed to help someone simply fall asleep. Your heart stops. Paramedics arrive within minutes. It is already too late. Age at death, 50. Cause of death, acute propofol intoxication. Rehearsals completed for This Is It before your death, essentially all of them. Actual shows performed on that tour, 0. The entire world stops, literally, for a moment. News networks around the globe interrupt live broadcasts to break the story. Days later, millions of people watch a memorial service broadcast internationally. Your 11-year-old daughter stands in front of a microphone in front of the entire world and says the only words that actually matter in that moment. I just wanted to say, I love my daddy so much. Here is a life measured in numbers. Years lived, 50. Years spent as a professional performer, 45. Records sold across a career, estimated worldwide, over 350 million. Grammy Awards won, 13. Studio albums released, 10. Years of documented childhood free from performance pressure and public scrutiny, 0. Years spent under constant public examination of his appearance, his choices, and his private life, over 3 decades, almost without pause. Legacy. Influence on pop music, on dance, on the modern music video as an art form, essentially incalculable. Billboard chart records still standing decades after his death, dozens. Public trials survived, 1. Public image ever fully reclaimed in his lifetime? Never. Not while he was alive to see it happen. This isn't a story about a monster, and it isn't a story about a saint either. It's a story about a 5-year-old boy who was told again and again that his talent was the only thing that ever made him worth loving, and who then spent the next 45 years trying to prove that talent was enough, while the actual child inside him never once got the chance to simply grow up in peace. The stereotype of the strange, reclusive global superstar exists, and there was real truth buried inside parts of it. But there's another version of this same story too. A boy from a cramped 2-bedroom house in Gary, Indiana, who changed the sound and the image of modern music forever, and who never once, across 50 years, got to just be an ordinary person. If this story made you feel something, hit like. If you want to keep seeing history through someone else's eyes, subscribe to Through Their Eyes. We don't tell fairy tales here. We show life exactly as it actually happened. Messy, brilliant, and painful. Often all at the same time. Whose eyes should we look through next? Drop the name in the comments below. Your voice decides whose story we tell next.